We hear a lot about the body and mind connection in yoga, right? What is this body and mind connection? There's something in yoga, in one of the philosophies, it's called the 8-limb path. And enlightenment is at the very end of that path. It's at the very end of the list. And there's so many things that come before it. And poses, believe it or not, is in the top 3. So when we move and when we breathe together, right, at the same time, when we sequence the movement and the breath, right away that's yoga. There's a union right there. And you can only breathe in the present. You can't breathe for the future, and you can't breathe for the past. You can only breathe in the moment. And so yoga and this idea of being present starts to be introduced on the mat. And what we learn on the mat is what we're able to take into the world. So it's not, yoga, I feel, the real yoga is not necessarily practiced on the mat, but it's practiced in the world. It's practiced in our everyday. We get to take a pause, right? So the thing that surprised me about yoga was it introduced me to this idea of the pause. And the pause is that moment before you react. Or it's to give us that moment, to give us that one little beat before we react. Maybe it's just like, let me just take a breath for a moment before I answer that email, before I call that person, before I don't know what it is, before I step into that moment that's uncomfortable for us. We have the pause. So the body and mind connection, we learn on the mat, and then we take what we learn on the mat and we step into the world with it. And it's a beautiful connection. So yoga is not to just be practiced in a room, but it's to be practiced in our everyday, in our relationship with people, in our relationship with ourselves. And be okay in the pause. Be okay with a moment when there's nothing happening, right? My teacher says that we've lost the art of daydreaming because we don't know how to be bored sometimes. We don't know how to be in the pause. So learn to be in the pause, and that will expand your world.